Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Hold no punches.
I'm real revolutionary right now. Black power.
Support this man, Black media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
Founder and CEO of Fanbase. Fanbase is a free to download, free to use, next generation social media platform that allows anyone to have followers and subscribers on the same page. Fanbase was built through investment dollars from equity crowdfunding from the Jobs Act. People just like you help build Fanbase, and we're looking for more people to help build Fanbase. We are currently raising $17 million in a Regulation A crowdfund on Start Engine. We've already crossed $2.1 million, but we're looking to raise more capital from people just like you that deserve the opportunity to invest in early stage startups without having to be accredited investors. So right now, I'd like you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase right now, today. And then use Fanbase to connect with friends, grow your audience, and be you without limits.
Today is Monday, November 25th, 2024. Coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. The white Florida woman who killed an unarmed black mother by shooting her through a locked door found out today how much time she's going to spend in prison. Folks, in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, there's going to be a runoff on December 7th where residents will return to the ballot box to elect a new mayor president. We'll talk to the incumbent, Sharon Weston Broome, who is seeking a third term. And what is going on with black voter turnout in Baton Rouge? Why are we not voting? Plus, Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio are fleeing the city now that the orange convict is returned to the Oval Office. We'll talk to a reporter who will let us know if the reports are true or more misinformation. Special Prosecutor Jack Smith is dropping the January 6th case against Donald Trump. And a MAGA senator says everyone who had something to do with the DOJ's case against Trump should be fired. But he still did it. Speaking of that convict, this idiot is selling a Bible, literally with his name above God. Didn't I tell y'all 1 Samuel 8? He think he's a god? Yeah, plus fitness philosopher Cootie Mack will be here for our Fit Live Win segment to share tips on how to maintain our healthy journey during these holidays. It's time to bring the funk. I'm Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Let's go.
He's got it. Whatever the biz, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's on go, roll, y'all. It's Roland Martin, yeah. Rolling with Roland now.
Folks, Baton Rouge's incumbent mayor Sharon Weston Broome will face Sid Edwards in a runoff election on December 7th. According to the Louisiana Secretary of State's office, an estimated 188,646 votes were cast in the mayoral election, with voter turnout reaching 64.2%. Now, Broome received 31% of the vote, while Edwards got 34%. Now, we repeatedly talked about Louisiana's low voter turnout among African Americans. She's the first woman elected to lead the capital city of Louisiana and is seeking a third term. East Baton Rouge Parish Mayor President Sharon Weston Broome joins us right now. Mayor, glad to have you back on Roland Martin Unfiltered. So,
thank you much.
What's the argument that you're making to Baton Rouge voters as to why you should be returned for a third term?
Well, of course, Roland, we have a litany of successes and achievements that are historic, including the largest infrastructure project that's touching every part of our city, including economic development that puts us as the strongest economy in the state of Louisiana, with 16,000 more jobs on the horizon in the next 2 years, and more particularly being the first mayor to ever pass a DBE program in the history of Baton Rouge. So we've invested over $50 million in minority, women, and veteran-owned businesses here in Baton Rouge during my 8 years.
So with all of that, when you look at what took place in the general election November 5th, your opponent got 3% more than you. And so how are you making the case to voters, especially black voters, that you've earned a third term and they should reward you for that work done the last 2 terms?
Well, Roland, there is a clear distinction between me and my opponent. First and foremost, beyond what we have accomplished over the 8 years moving Baton Rouge forward. My opponent has not voted in 8 years. That equates to almost 25 elections.
Wait a minute, hold up. The guy who's running for mayor hasn't voted in 8 years?
In 8 years, which equates to approximately 25 elections. That in and of itself speaks volumes.
So he wants voters to put him in office, but he hasn't bothered to actually vote.
That is correct. That is correct.
Is he from Baton Rouge?
Yes, he is a coach here in the Baton Rouge area. And Roland, I see you have your Aggies shirt on. And I will tell you, in sports, we know an 0-25 record certainly won't get you promoted. And so for him to think that not showing up for the citizens of this community for over 8 years at the ballot booth, and now he should be promoted to mayor president, is really very concerning.
What does he do right now? Is he on the council, or is he, what does he do?
He's a high school coach.
Okay, so he's a high school coach.
High school football coach.
Has he done anything in public policy?
No, he has not. And in fact, I have served on the Metro Council. I've been the Speaker Pro Tem of the House of Representatives, the President Pro Tem of the Senate, and then 8 years ago, I was privileged and humbled to be elected Mayor President of Baton Rouge. So my public service journey has been quite an extensive one.
All right, so he's a coach, and I'm not dissing coaches.
Yes.
But in terms of resume, that's it. I just want to show our audience this, just so people understand, because we literally are living in the age. I don't even know what the hell the age this even is. So for everybody who's listening, if you're watching, you're going to be able to read this, and I'm going to read it for you. But for the people who are listening to this, I'm about to read the bio of Mayor Weston Broome's opponent, which is on his website. It says career and family. He's a legendary coach with more than 44 years in coaching, including Catholic High 10 years, Redemptorist 7 years, Jesuit 1 year, Central 17 years. He was also the athletic director of the Central School System for 11 years. He's the winningest coach in the Capital Region, garnering him 3 state championships. First of all, that should be championships, not championship. So you would think a high school coach would have proper grammar on their website. His honors include NFL National Coach of the Year, Louisiana 5A Coach of the Year, and Coach of the Decade. He's been married to his wife, Beanie, for 37. First of all, that should be, he's married to his wife, comma, Beanie, comma, for 37 years. They have 4 children and 3 grandchildren. 2 of their children are autistic young men who live with them and they care for daily. And then it says, copyright, See It for the Win, all rights reserved. That's it. So literally, his resume to be the mayor of the capital city of Louisiana is, I coach football.
Correct. And I personally think he should remain a coach coaching football.
It's shocking to me that this even has gone to a runoff with, I can't even call this resume light. I call it non-existent. And again, if this was a contest about coaching a team, I would say he has more experience with that from you. If we're talking about public policy, how to run a city, this ain't it.
Well, Roland, as the mayor president, I just crafted over $1 billion budget because of an emerging new breakaway city. I was able to make sure that all of my 4,000 plus employees were retained. There were no layoffs, and also made sure that in crafting that budget, we were able to continue our level of quality of services. So, my opponent has no experience with a budget or public service, and to say that all of a sudden that he would like to jump and become mayor is, as I said earlier, quite concerning. In this day and age, experience matters, especially on the local government. We're going to have to rely on local government a lot moving forward. And I believe that you need someone in the seat who at least knows how local government, especially the mayor's office, functions.
Early voting is taking place. This is your website. It started November 22nd to the 30th. There's no early voting on November 24th, November 28th, November 29th, obviously Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving. You also have an issue that is taking place in Baton Rouge where you had a breakaway city, and that's mostly white, and they wanted to break away from Baton Rouge. What has been the impact of that on this election?
So the impact of that on the election is multi-fold. I will tell you, first of all, they have an election coming up right now, a tax election will determine if they will continue moving forward as a city as a city financially. I will also tell you that another reason stability is needed in the mayor's office is because I'm at the negotiation table right now in an attempt to protect this entire city and parish so that we are not put in a financial strain as it relates to this emerging new city. And so that has been an ongoing process. As you know, early on, I was in the process of litigation because I felt it was necessary, if you're going to stand up a city of this size, that you should be able to show the citizens and particularly show me as the mayor president, what is your plan of action to do that? And we won at the district court level, we won at the appellate court level, and then the Supreme Court ruled in their favor. So it's been incumbent upon me to make sure that I protect all citizens of this parish as a result of this new city.
Black turnout is, first of all, when we look at this the city of Baton Rouge. What is the percentage of Black, white, Hispanic residents in the city?
Well, the African American population of Baton Rouge is approximately close to 55%, over 50, close to 55%. And so our effort, Roland, is to make sure that we are not distracted, because I'll be very honest with you. The strategy of my opponent and his consultants and advisors is that African Americans in particular will not go back out and vote in a runoff election. I believe we're going to dismantle that narrative. But we cannot be distracted. We've got a lot of celebrations coming up in Baton Rouge. Of course, Thanksgiving takes away 2 early voting days for us. And then Saturday, as you're aware, is the Bayou Classic. So we don't want people to forget that voting is going on right now as we celebrate our sports wins. And then on election day, Southern University is in the SWAC championship on election day. So we want to encourage everyone to early vote, whether it's today, tomorrow, or Wednesday. But we cannot allow ourselves to be distracted with our celebrations, which are certainly noteworthy, and lose the accomplishments that we have made in terms of this role of mayor president.
Give us some vote totals. In the last election, what were the total vote totals?
The total, let's see, the percentages.
Not November 5th, when you won last time. What were the vote totals?
When I won last time, the vote totals, I don't have them right here, but they were certainly outstanding. I will tell you that the number of votes that I received in the total elections the past 2 times were historic in terms of the number of votes cast for a mayor president. So we did have a strong turnout in both of those elections. But as you said earlier, Roland, we've got to improve our turnout. We saw what happened in our statewide elections recently last year, and we now need to be cognizant of what happened there as we move forward. I will tell you the last time that I ran, the turnout was 57%.
Okay.
57% the last time.
57%, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find the actual vote totals. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. So, looking at these total numbers. Okay, first round, because there was a runoff in 2020, right?
Correct. There was a runoff in 2020.
Okay.
I had 57%.
Yeah. So looking at these numbers here, you got a total of 98,722 votes in the general. Your opponent, Steve Carter, got 40,757.
Yes.
That was
it was a 35% turnout.
Right. It was 48% to 19. So 35% turnout.
Yeah.
You come back in the runoff. You get 65,000 to his 50,000, and so. But the reason I'm specifically mentioning these numbers is because I saw this video that Gary Chambers had put out. He put this tweet out. He said, out of 100, and so there are 129,000 registered Black voters in East Baton Rouge Parish. And in the first 2 days of early voting, only 4,486 voted. And so what I'm looking at here in terms of the point I make, and again, so if I go back to the runoff, you got 65,000 votes in the runoff last time. How many people are going to be at the Southern game for the SWAC championship?
That's a real good question, but I will tell you, we love our Jaguars, and we have a strong Jaguar nation, as you know. So I'm anticipating that they will have, because the game is in Jackson, it's not far away, that there will be a strong turnout.
Right, but the point I'm making, let's just say 25,000 Southern fans travel to Jackson State for the game. That's almost half of what you got last year. And
Correct.
So folks cannot be, let me be real clear, Southern fans, you cannot be more excited about tailgating for the SWAC championship than you are about who's going to be leading the city of Baton Rouge for the next 4 years. Folks should be taking, if Southern fans, the Bayou Classic is Saturday. Y'all can vote tomorrow.
Yeah.
Y'all can vote Wednesday. Y'all can vote Saturday before you go to New Orleans. And so at the end of the day, this is where we have to be saying that who is the next mayor of Baton Rouge? And you said a $1 billion budget.
Correct.
I dare say the control of a $1 billion budget is frankly more important than beating Grambling. I'm just going to go ahead. You ain't got to say it. I'm going to go ahead and say it. But this is where we have to understand our power cannot be left at home. I am constantly saying that if black people vote at 70% of our capacity, we win elections. If I take the 129,000 black registered voters in Baton Rouge, I need everybody to listen to what I'm about to say, okay? So I need y'all to understand something. I just showed y'all the numbers. Look at right here, y'all. In the last runoff, 2020, 65,000 ballots cast, Sharon Weston Broome wins. If black people in Baton Rouge vote at 70% of our capacity, that's 90,300 votes. That's just black people alone. Game over. Election won. And obviously you have white supporters. I see folks who endorsed you. And so this is an example for African Americans why we must maximize our voting power.
Absolutely. And I would be remiss, Roland, if I didn't mention the fact that 2 weeks ago, I was elected by the National League of Cities membership to be their national president. So that certainly will put Baton Rouge on a national level in terms of advocacy. But I'm also representing mayors and city council members from villages, towns, and cities across America. So I look forward to that. But that comes in me being the mayor president of Baton Rouge. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So I just, again, this is, if we want to talk about power, look, the election November 5th for the presidency, that's over. Jeff Landry, that election last year, that's over. But this is what I've been saying post November 5th, how we must recalibrate and realize that there are mayoral elections, city council elections, school board races, county races that we need to be focusing on in order to still maintain the control power. Your final comment.
My final comment is to implore all of our residents of Baton Rouge to lean in so we don't lose City Hall. This is a critical election, and we all must show up at the polls. And I look forward to staying connected. You need a mayor who's going to show up for you. 0-25, you're not showing up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Mayor Sharon Weston Broome, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, got to go to a break. We'll be right back right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
Hatred on the streets, a horrific scene, a white nationalist rally that descended into deadly violence.
White people are losing their damn minds.
As an angry pro-Trump mob storms the U.S. Capitol, we've seen
We're about to see the rise of what I call white minority resistance. We have seen white folks in this country who simply cannot tolerate black folks voting.
I think what we're seeing is the inevitable result of violent denial.
This is part of American history. Every time that people of color have made progress, whether real or symbolic, there has been what Carol Anderson at Emory University calls white rage as a backlash.
This is the rise of the Proud Boys and the Boogaloo Boys. America, there's going to be more of this.
Here's all the Proud Boys, guys.
This country is getting increasingly racist in its behaviors and its attitudes because of the fear of white people.
The fear that they're taking our jobs, they're taking our resources, they're taking our women. This is white fear.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jackie Hood Martin, and I have a question for you. Ever feel as if your life is teetering and the weight and pressure of the world is consistently on your shoulders? Well, let me tell you, living a balanced life isn't easy. Join me each Tuesday on Black Star Network for A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie. We'll laugh together, cry together, pull ourselves together, and cheer each other on. So join me for new shows each Tuesday on Black Star Network, A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie.
Pull up a chair, take your seat at the Black Table with me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
This is Essence Atkins.
Mr. Love King of R&B, Raheem Devon.
It's me, Sherry Shepard, and you know what you watch.
You're watching Roland Martin, Unfiltered.
My pound, Dr. Julian Malveaux, economist, president, emerita, Bennett College, coming to just out of D.C., Dr. Amakongo Dibinga Sr., professorial lecturer, School of International Service from American University, Jade Mathis, Esquire, Jade Mathis Law. Folks, this is the video that Gary Chambers posted on social media about early voting. Watch this.
What's good? I am leaving my third church service today because it's that important that I get you out to vote this week. We have 4,000 black folks that have gone to early vote in the first 2 days of early voting out of 129,000 registered black voters. Mayor Sharon Weston Broome is up for her last term as mayor, and I need you to get out and vote for her so that we don't end up with a football coach that hadn't voted in the last 8 elections running the city where he don't understand nothing about government, gonna over-police you. We already have a president who's gonna let stop and frisk loose, a governor who's saying that he is changing laws to allow police to arrest your kids more, and now you're going to end up with a mayor who's going to send them police all up in your neighborhoods because the only answer that he has to crime is more policing when we have an 18% poverty rate. If I can go to 3 churches today, if I can go get active in the community and talk to people, you can text 10 people and let somebody know that Mayor Broome is on the ballot. Now listen, the Bayou Classic is Saturday, the Battle of the Bands is Friday, a bunch of y'all going to New Orleans and you ain't gonna be in town. Those are the last 2 days to early vote. And December the 7th, which is election day, is the SWAC championship. We lost the U.S. Senate race in 2014 because black folks went to the SWAC championship. I'm not gonna let y'all sleep on this mayor's race. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, go handle your business and text 10 people this video this morning so that people understand that we got work to do. The job ain't done.
Absolutely. I'm going to start with you, Julian. I mean, it's simple. We have to be maximizing our power, and 4,400 black folks voted early out of 129,000. My God.
You know, Roland, you make this point constantly, and it's a very good point. If we voted at our percentage in the population, we would win more elections. We'd influence more elections. I don't understand, as the brother said, 4,400 out of
4,486.
Okay, you go get the exact number. I appreciate that. But out of more than 100,000, 112,000, that's absurd. What the big question is, why are these people staying home? Don't they care? You know, this sister, she's got it together. I mean, she's not only a local figure as a mayor, she's a statewide figure, and clearly with her most recent election to the county executives, She is a national figure. She deserves support. And we know, yeah, Baton Rouge has a very high poverty rate. It's about 20%, 22% higher than the national poverty rate, higher than the national poverty rate for Black people. So there are problems there that need to be addressed. But she can't address those problems until she wins the election. She can't win the election unless people come out to vote. I am perplexed by the number of people who do not vote. I had a young lady tell me the other day, with some pride, of course, by the time I finished with her, she wouldn't tell anybody anything. I don't vote. I just don't believe in it. I said, it ain't religion. It's just, I don't vote. I don't believe in it. And told me that to my face. I'm like, do you know who you're talking to? Why would you say something like that? And then she gave me some long story about not voting. This is what this thing hinges on. It hinges on people getting out to vote. Black people are 52% of Baton Rouge. Whites are 37%. Now, race has something to do with it. We know this ignorant white football coach and white boy with no government experience. What he has going for himself is his race. And the other thing he has going for himself is suppressed Black turnout. So like the brother said in the video, you go into the Bayou Classic, you go in here, you go in there, go to the polls first. Just go to the polls first. Don't chance you get back on time and all of this. This is really important. By the way, about 10% of the population of Baton Rouge is other. I would have liked to ask Sister Mayor about where the other category, they're probably mostly Latino, but where they stand in terms of voting for her. But she's clearly done an exemplary job. She's clearly done an exemplary job. She deserves re-election, and it's only going to happen if people come out to vote. And too many of us, for whatever reason, don't come out to vote.
This is the thing I make clear, Omakongo, when we talk about people who say, I don't believe in that. You are paying taxes. You are literally paying sales tax, property tax, income tax, and politicians, city, county, school board, state, federal, are making decisions with your money. And when you sit elections out, you are saying to somebody else, here, go ahead, keep taking my money. Y'all do whatever y'all want with my money, and I'm going to check out of the process, but then I'm going to complain about something that I'm not getting. But you're going to be like this coach, this dude, Sid, whatever his name is, who, what is his name? Sid, let me pull it up. I had it earlier, because how in the hell do you run for mayor and you ain't voted in 8 years? Come on, Omakongo, go ahead.
Look, when we were talking about what happens if Trump gets in, and we said this country is going to get what it deserves, in many of our communities as well, by our inaction, we are going to get what we deserve as well. And this continued disconnect between the power of voting and basic services in our community is where we have to do a lot of work right now, because in the face of the national election, we have to go and focus more on this local. But the fact, Roland Martin, that you can talk about everything you just talked about, the taxes, the schools, the policing, and all of that, that this is money that people are paying into, but yet they can't see that connect when you only get a little bit over 4,400 people who are voting. This is one of the challenges in our own community. And like you said, the couch is one of the biggest constituencies as well. But there's a certain level of sophistication that just goes beyond, a LaTosha Brown or a Cliff Albright showing up at people's doors talking about the importance of voting. Like, this is basic everyday stuff. You don't need to learn this in civics classes or anything like that. This is your town, and these are your leaders. And for people to not come out for her, who's already demonstrated the fact that she is a leader, who's not some random person with a random resume who has been there, I'm hoping that the message gets out now from what we're doing here, from the brothers in the car, so on and so forth, talking about the classics and the like. We cannot not show up for another Black woman in this way. And this is just problematic. And if we don't get this together now, and people talk about, like, I don't do that politics stuff, like they're living in Wakanda or something, like they're living in some place that's immune from everything that's going on. And it's like even Wakanda got invaded if you're staying with the comics. But if we don't do this now, Roland, especially with what's coming, I mean, that's Mike Johnson country down there. You know what I'm saying? If we don't get that together now, we are also going to get what we deserve as well. And this is ultimate wake-up time now if we haven't got the message yet.
Listen, Jade, I keep saying this. The numbers don't lie. If we as Black people vote at 70% of our capacity, game over. We are 55% of the city, 129,000 black registered voters. If 70% of us vote, that's 90,300 votes. That literally is 25,000 more than she got in the runoff to win in 2020. And she's running against somebody who has no experience in public policy, no experience with a budget of this size, has never served in public office, and more importantly, ain't voted in 8 years.
In 8 years. And that is a prime example, Roland, what comes to my head is Trump's white privilege when we think about that, right? After hearing his resume and credentials, or lack thereof in this case, right? Especially relevant ones towards this. And what's most disheartening is this mayor is really trying to implement programs and strategies that will be beneficial for our community. And she's also thinking outside the box, right? When you talk about, she's talking about crime reduction and skills and trade, aligning workforce development, which are huge things in our communities, right? Law enforcement accountability and preventing blight reduction programs. Those are all things that are going to impact people who look like us. However, as we've already stated, because Baton Rouge is a more impoverished area and the literacy rate may not be as high as other areas, I don't know what it's going to take for the residents to understand. There is clearly a disconnect there, but I'm not sure how else the message can be delivered, because I think she's delivering the correct message. I just don't know how they're receiving it. And maybe using some, and which I'm sure she's already doing, some of the nonprofit organizations and the boots on the ground to go into those inner city and actually explain to those individuals how it's going to be beneficial towards them. Maybe that will make a change, but she's delivering the message correctly. It's just unfortunate that it's not being received.
Hey, folk, if we sit at home and she lose, I don't want to hear nothing.
Yeah.
Again, all I'm going to play is Scarface's No Tears. I'm going to keep saying this. We can't keep whining and complaining about black power and not being in control when here's an example where we can actually run a majority black city. Atlanta is what it is because they had black mayor after mayor after mayor after mayor. But y'all can F around and find out. But Baton Rouge, y'all need to be showing up and showing out. Got to go to break. We come back. We're going to talk about what's happening in Springfield, Ohio, because Donald Trump and his imps have been trashing Haitians there. Folks are fleeing that city, fleeing Springfield, Ohio, left and right. We'll talk about it next. Don't forget, support the work that we do. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. The goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing on average $50 each at $4.19 a month, 13 cents a day. If you want to contribute via via Cash App, use Stripe. Cash App wiped out all of our accounts, so we got to use Stripe. So use Cash App to support what we do. Also, send your check and money order, P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C., 20037-0196. PayPal is rmartinunfiltered. Venmo is rmunfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com, Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. We'll be right back.
What's up, y'all? Look, Fanbase is more than a platform. It's a movement to empower creators, offering a unique opportunity for everyday people to invest in Black-owned tech, infrastructure, and help shape the future of social media. Investing in technology is essential for creating long-term wealth and influence in the digital age. The Black community must not only consume tech, we must own it.
Discover how equity crowdfunding can serve as a powerful tool for funding Black businesses, allowing entrepreneurs to raise capital directly through their community through the Jobs Act.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jackie Hood Martin, and I have a question for you. Ever feel as if your life is teetering and the weight and pressure of the world is consistently on your shoulders? Well, let me tell you, living a balanced life isn't easy. Join me each Tuesday on Black Star Network for A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie. We'll laugh together, cry together, pull ourselves together, and cheer each other on. So join me for new shows each Tuesday on Black Star Network, A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie.
Pull up a chair, take your seat. The Black Tape with me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
How you doing? My name is Mark Curry, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered. Deep into it, like pasteurized milk without the 2%. We getting deep. You want to turn that shit off? We're doing an interview, motherfucker.
Some of the Haitian migrants in Springfield, Ohio, who were targets of massive lies and hate during this election season, are reportedly fleeing the city they've called home for years. Fritz Neil Octave is the Haiti editor of the Haitian Times. He joins me now from Kissimmee, Florida. Glad to have you here on the show, Fritz Neil. What are you hearing? So is this actually happening? We saw these news reports that they are leaving because they feel it's unsafe. What's your understanding?
Well, and thank you for having me. Normally, based on what had transpired in the election season, all these false claims and Haitians living in Ohio on the edge. So regardless of the status, the vast majority of them, they are legally living in the city, but they don't really know exactly what to make of what's going to happen with the incoming Trump administration policies on immigration. So some of them already looking to relocate to across America in different cities where they can find jobs, because I mean they left Haiti just most of it because of the situation on the ground in Haiti, the insecurity caused by gang violence and all that, and coming here thinking that they will be well received because most of them come in on the federal programs, humanitarian parole, or some of them to other programs. But instead, this is what they've been facing now. So some of them are fears. It's not that they're massively leaving, like some report subject, but some of them effectively leaving.
So you are hearing that they are leaving, looking to go to other places in the United States as a result of them constantly being under attack by Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and right-wing MAGA Republicans.
Well, it's not all because of the fear. Some of them were there temporarily to work, and then as the work, maybe they find a better opportunity somewhere else, and then they know what's going on with the city. Well, in light of all these things that happened, a couple months ago, so they prefer to just find a place somewhere else. But some of them are leaving exactly because they're not sure what's going to happen to them with the mass deportation narrative.
Gotcha. And so, go ahead.
I would say based on the reporting, it's most people still stay put, and they believe in the system kind of, because they know they're there legally. Some of the people has been living there for years. They settle well in the city. They have the business running personally. Some of them have good jobs, so they're solid in those jobs. They don't let fear take over them, but some of them don't really know what to make of, especially those under the TPS program. They don't know when the TPS expired and in 2026 what's going to happen. And then some of them also under the Biden humanitarian parole program. So due to expire after 2 years, they've been admitted in the country. So these are people who are mostly scared of the situation.
All right, then. Well, Fritz Snell, we surely appreciate you joining us. Thank you so very much for giving us an update on that.
Yeah, thank you, Wallen, for having me. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
I appreciate it. I want to go to my panel here, Omakongo. I'm going to start with you. I mean, we're going to hear more of this. Obviously, there are people who are scared to death when you have these Project 2025 people coming in saying they want to do mass deportations. They want to deport some 11 million people. And you've got some black folks who are cheering that as well. But here's the thing that also I need a lot of these folks who are black to understand. When you look at the black population in the United States, 10% of that are black immigrants. 10% of that. So when we start talking about these cities and different places, do understand that that's going to have an impact when census gets taken, when it comes to resources. But again, if folks want to sit here and want to be in massive opposition, go right ahead. But you're already seeing Omakongo, farmers in California saying, we're letting y'all know there's going to need to be some exceptions, because if this happens, food prices are going to skyrocket. And they said, who's going to come out here and pick these crops? Same thing in Florida.
Absolutely. And Tom Homan, the border czar, doesn't care. And going to your point about black people and immigrants in our communities, we got to be mindful that when some of his agents come through, all four of us can be Haitian as far as they're concerned. And if people think that they're not going to get mistakenly swept up in some of this, because Holman said we're going to go after the criminals first. He said first. So they got other plans. And so just getting swept up in something like that alone can be problematic if you're in detention, lose your job, so on and so forth. So that's number one. Number two, a lot of us who are complaining about, these immigrant centers, community centers to help, help that ones that got brought to New York and all these other places, guess what? What stock is soaring now, right now, Roland? Private prison stock, because Trump is going to turn these areas into prisons. And so we're going to be having more prisons coming to our communities if people aren't paying attention to that. And lastly, as it relates to people basically living in fear, I've heard stories about families who are leaving instructions for their children with their neighbors or other family members who are legal, about their kids' allergies and medical records and all of this other type of stuff, in case there's a day where their kid comes home from school and their parents are gone. Like, this is how deep this is penetrating people across the country. And for those of us who are not going to have compassion for families like that, at the very least, we can have a little bit of sensitivity to what's going to be happening to all of our neighborhoods, because they are going to be ravaged physically, and they're going to be ravaged economically by what you just talked about in terms of the farmers and the high prices that are going to be going up. So again, if you're not paying attention to this, we are going to get what we deserve. They're going to be hitting our communities hard as well. We got to wake up.
Jade?
So, I'm sorry, did you say Jade or?
Yeah, go right ahead. You're all right. It's you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I wholeheartedly agree with the previous speaker, because that's the first thing that came to my mind initially, right? There's about 12 to 15,000 Haitians that live in Springfield. There's only roughly 60,000 residents. So if you are sending the majority or a vast majority of the residents away, and that vast majority are probably business owners, private business owners, have family businesses, then what does that do to the local economy, right? How and what effect does that have also on the families? And it's really disheartening to hear that parents are leaving, essentially, it sounds like wheels, right? Or to-do list for their children in case they are taken away. That sounds like a form of modern day slavery, if you ask me, looking over your back, hoping the man doesn't come get you and make you go back on the plantation, right? And most of these Haitian migrants that we're talking about are actually here legally through temporary protected status. And Trump is well aware of that, yet and still he vowed to end that status. So those really concern me. Those matters really concern me.
Julian?
Well, we should all be concerned. This is really frightening at some level. These are people who come here legally. In some cases, they were recruited because of labor shortages in Springfield. Let me underline that, what I just said, labor shortages. As Roland said in setting this up, who's going to pick the lettuce? Who's going to deal with the crops? On my block here in Washington, D.C., I would say, who's going to clean your house? I mean, there are 4 or 5 sisters who are clearly Latina. I don't know anything about their status, but they have their little cars and they come with their supplies and go to people's houses to clean them. Will they be subject to something? Many of the waiters in this neighborhood are Latino. Will they be subject to something? Basically, you know, we should all say all together now, we told y'all the incoming president made a strong case, a flawed case, but a strong one, that he could control the economy. Everything that he has proposed to do is inflationary, removing either legal or illegal immigrants from this country precipitously is inflationary. Building more prisons is inflationary. Adding tariffs is inflationary. So he says that he wants to be the one who can corral the economy. Frankly, Biden and Harris were doing a good job. We had seen inflation go down to the Fed target of 2%. We have seen a number of other positive things in terms of the unemployment rate. They've been hitting all the marks. Their flaw, as we've talked about many times here, is they ain't tell nobody. They didn't toot their own horn. But I don't know if it would have mattered, because I think too many ignorant white people, I'm just going to call them ignorant, too many of them, frankly, voted their race and not their pocketbook. If they had voted their pocketbook, they would have voted for Harris, Waltz. But instead, they voted because they could not stand to pull a lever for a Black woman. But in any case, you know, as Roland said, I'm not going to repeat it, F around and find out. F around and find out, because I dare say that based on many of the economists who have said, the Wall Street Journal economists said that the Harris-Waltz economic plan was better than the Trump, whatever that other little man's name is, that the Harris-Waltz economic plan was better. But in 6 months, I dare say if they do even a third of the stupidity that they say they're going to do, we will see inflation rising. If they deport, inflation rising. Tariffs, inflation rising. We can go down the list, and inflation rising, but people voted essentially because they voted their whiteness.
Well, this to me is also, I find to be hilarious. Go to my iPad, Henry. Trump's deportation vow alarms Texas construction industry. I'm like, where in the hell have y'all been for the past several years? You've got nutcases, Governor Greg Abbott. You've got Texas Governor, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, Republicans in the state, doing what they're doing. And so, yeah. So y'all are sitting here, but guess what, Texas? Y'all voted for the man. Y'all voted for Abbott. Y'all voted for Dan Patrick. In fact, Republicans control all statewide offices. They've done so for the last 25 years. This on y'all. So guess what? If the Texas construction industry, let's say, just crashes, again, I'm gonna play Scarface's No Tears. If it crashes in California and Florida, guess what? Knock yourself out. I'm not gonna sit here and say a word. Y'all voted for this. And this is an example of y'all wanted truly FAFO. Y'all wanted to go here, go right ahead. Go right ahead. And so if all of a sudden y'all can't figure out who's gonna be cleaning hotel rooms, who's gonna be working in sweeping floors in hospitals and in schools and stuff like that, I'm just letting everybody know this how I'ma look the next 4 years. All I'm gonna say is, what's for lunch? What's for dinner? Because folks say they wanted this. Okay, all right, y'all gonna get it. Y'all gonna get everything y'all want and that y'all desire. And all y'all broke-ass white people in Alabama, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina, Arkansas, Tennessee, I can go on and on and on. If they whacked the Affordable Care Act and now y'all ain't got nothing,
yep,
y'all gonna get the same look. All I'm gonna ask is, who you vote for. That's why I need everybody right now watching the Black Star Network. I need y'all to get this shirt. I need y'all to pull up my graphic. Y'all need to get this shirt right here. Come on, pull it up. Don't blame, pull it up. Thank you. Don't blame me. I voted for the black woman. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to wear that shirt. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear the complaining. I don't want to hear the whining. No, leave it up. Y'all, this is where I want y'all to go. I want y'all to get y'all, I'm telling y'all, it's rolandmartin.creator-spring.com. And matter of fact, I'm going to have mine on this weekend in Houston when mine comes in. But that's it right here. Don't blame me. I voted for the black woman. Because remember when Donald Trump was at his rallies, he's like, well, you want to vote for the black guy or the white guy? I think they want the white guy. All right, cool. That's who I'm rocking with. And so y'all get y'all shirt, rolandmartin.creator-spring.com. Again, all the proceeds go right back into the show. So I don't want to hear nothing. And if y'all black, and I see some black men and black women out here, I saw some woman on crying on Twitter about how, I don't know, she mad, I need to get canceled, I'm not covering them in Chicago. So you don't want me to have a show, but we want to cover you. Make up your damn mind. So y'all do what y'all want to do, but I'm telling y'all right now, if the construction industry in Texas crashes, no tears. I'm going to a break. When we come back, more on the show, including, it must be something to be white. When you can make a statement that you took heroin in college and it helped you read better, and now you in line to be the Secretary of Health and Human Services? Ooh, whiteness is a thing, y'all. It's a thing. But Robert F. Kennedy Jr., he also has some advice to black people. If we just shake the racism off, it's gonna go away. Wow. We'll discuss that next, right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
When you talk about blackness and what happens in black culture, covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it.
This is about covering us.
Invest in black-owned media.
Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks.
We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible.
Checks and money orders go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jackie Hood Martin, and I have a question for you. Ever feel as if your life is teetering and the weight and pressure of the world is consistently on your shoulders? Well, let me tell you, living a balanced life isn't easy. Join me each Tuesday on Black Star Network for A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie. We'll laugh together, cry together, pull ourselves together, and cheer each other on. So join me for new shows each Tuesday on Black Star Network, A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie.
Pull up a chair, take your seat. The Black Tape with me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
Hey, it's John Murray, the executive producer of the new Sherry Shepherd Talk Show.
This is your boy, Earthquake.
And you're tuned in to
Roland Martin Unfiltered.
All right, y'all. Special Counsel Jack Smith is dismissing his federal election interference case against the Orange Man due to a long-standing Justice Department policy that bars the prosecution of a sitting president. Now, y'all know I already think that's still stupid and BS. Now, nearly 16 months after a grand jury first indicted Donald Trump over his alleged efforts to unlawfully overturn the results of the 2020 election, Smith asked U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutkan to throw out the case ahead of Trump's impending inauguration. In Smith's motion, he wrote, as a result of the election held on November 5, 2024, the defendant, Donald J. Trump, will be inaugurated as president on January 20, 2025. It has long been the position of the Department of Justice that the United States Constitution forbids the federal indictment and subsequent criminal prosecution of a sitting president. But the department and the country have never faced the circumstance here where a federal indictment against a private citizen has been returned by a grand jury and the criminal prosecution is already underway when the defendant is elected president. Confronted with this unprecedented situation, the special counsel's office consulted with the department's Office of Legal Counsel, whose interpretation of constitutional questions such as those raised here is binding on department prosecutors. After careful consideration, the department has determined that OLC's prior opinions concerning the Constitution's prohibition on federal indictment and prosecution of a sitting president apply to this situation, and that as a result, this prosecution must be dismissed before the defendant is inaugurated. Earlier this month, Judge Chutkan canceled the remaining deadlines in the case after Smith requested time to assess this unprecedented circumstance and determine the appropriate course going forward consistent with Department of Justice policy following the election. Trump pled not guilty to federal charges of undertaking a criminal scheme to overturn the results of the 2020 election by listing a state of so-called fake electors. Now, he also asked for this to be dismissed with prejudice, so it could be brought back later. Let me know when we have Jade back, folks, because I want to. She's a lawyer. I want to talk to her about this here. But I'm gonna go to Congo first. Congo. So okay, Jade's there. Okay, so here's the issue that I have constantly with this whole deal, Jade. First, they are operating off of a DOJ opinion, which is based upon a memo written when President Nixon was in office, and his DOJ was trying to save his ass. The problem that I have is this opinion has never been affirmed by the courts. So what I don't understand is why Merrick Garland didn't have the guts to say, no, go forward and take this thing to the federal court. Let the courts decide that a person who was indicted prior to being inaugurated can't be prosecuted. Okay? Now, the court has ruled a president has immunity based upon actions of the office. He was a private citizen. That to me is why I have a problem with what Jack Smith has decided, because Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, has chosen to be gutless in this situation.
You're absolutely right. I think they are being very selective in changing and adding rules as they go along. As you say, that was a recommendation, suggestion by the DOJ. And also one thing that I'm noticing with that is that it brings into question the statutes of limitation, right? Because there's not going to be any tolling on the statutes of limitation. So what I think they are strategically trying to do is that if you put this law, if you put this requirement in place that was never made a law, right, then by the time Trump is in his presidency, the statute of limitation will probably have ran, right? So there is no way he can be accountable for his decision. And on top of that, who would the special counsel now give the liberty to make that decision, right? Would it be the DOJ? Who would the DOJ give that liberty to? Also, the only case at that point which will be hanging over Trump's head when he enters the office will be the civil fraud case with a judgment of nearly $500 million. So that one's selectively going to be brought up, right, and hanging over his head. However, the other felonies and the other more severe charges and cases will not be.
I already have an issue, Julian, with New York and Georgia suspending their cases because those are state cases. They do not have to abide by a DOJ opinion. But let's just be real honest here, Julian. The reason we're here It's because Merrick Garland is gutless. Merrick Garland should have called for a special prosecutor on January 21st. No, he waited 2.5 years. This is on him. And this is why he will go down as one of America's worst attorney generals.
Gutless is a nice thing to say about him. That man really, he got a consolation prize. He was going to be a Supreme Court justice, nominated by President Obama. He didn't get it. I blame President Obama for bringing that gutless. Okay, I'm editing myself, y'all. You know how when I put my head down, I'm like, I'm not going to say that today on TV. But that gutless mofo into the orbit of basically administration leadership, because he is no leader. He is no leader. If he didn't do it on January 21st, Roland, it should have been February 1st. But they didn't. He slow rolled everything. And one wonders if he is actually a Trumpy in disguise, because the slow roll is what benefited the incoming president the most. Bonnie Willis deserves high props in Atlanta. Tish James in New York deserves high props. And there is no reason for them to dismiss their cases. These are state cases. What he did in Atlanta, calling up, dialing for votes. I just need 11,000 and so many votes. That's illegal. The whole thing with paying strippers and illegally, that's illegal. I mean, so if Jack Smith wants to dismiss based on a 1974 Richard Nixon protecting law, that's Jack Smith. And he's probably scared. He is probably scared. And that's okay, dude. You can be scared. But the other part of it is this other part. The state cases should not have to go away. And I think Jade is right. You know, the whole issue of the statute of limitations works in Trump's favor, but it doesn't have to. It really doesn't have to. There are all kind of workarounds with this, and there's so many brilliant Black and other lawyers out there. You know, the day he steps out of office, he can wear some handcuffs or bracelets, as they call them.
Here's what I think is just dumb here on Macongo. This is just what I think is just flat out, just nonsensical with this whole deal. Okay. So the DOJ opinion says you can't prosecute. Why not test it in court? If the courts say you can't prosecute, well, then you just go ahead and just can't prosecute. I mean, that's all it is. And I don't think that Merrick Garland was a Trump plant. I think the problem is when you pick a judge, a former federal judge, to be a prosecutor, he is thinking and acting like a judge and not a prosecutor.
That part.
Which is why many of us wanted Doug Jones in that spot.
Yes.
And look, the fact of the matter is that too many times in this Justice Department, when it came to Trump, they decided to do nothing because they didn't want to appear to be political, not understanding or not caring about the fact that not doing anything is political. Right? Inaction is an action. And so they waited, 14 months after, Cassidy Hutchinson finally came to the January 6th Commission and finally decided to launch this investigation. The Justice Department, we've talked about Kristen Clark and so many things that they've done in that department, which have been positive for our community. But at the very top of the issue, the way that they let this particular situation lollygag and let this man who is just a criminal on so many different levels. I mean, look what's going on with the inauguration right now. They haven't signed a memo of understanding, so now they can continue to raise money, and anybody, foreign or otherwise, can give money towards his inauguration. Like, to just raking it all in. So they're in action. They could have dealt with this. And like you said, Roland, let's just get it to trial. Let's get this stuff to a judge. And if things become, guilty, not guilty, you can't do that and so on and so forth, then let it be so. But the fact that they didn't want to push the limits for an insurrectionist who was about to let all of those guys who they actually spent efforts going out to arrest and prosecute, that he's about to let them out and pardon them. The fact that they let this guy skate because of their inaction, because they didn't want to seem political, is a disgrace. And this is something that people are not going to forget anytime soon. And I'm not going to sit there and say they should be ashamed of themselves, but this is embarrassing for the country that this criminal gets to be at the top of our highest order right now, because in large part, because the Justice Department didn't do its job. There should have been an investigation started on January 7th, because this is what it came down to, and they let it slide. And here we are right now with Trump 2.0.
Yep, absolutely. And so, this is going to be on Merrick Garland, pure and simple. Trump is running around saying, I won. No, you actually ran the clock out. That's what actually happened here. And the bottom line is, as Jack Smith said, them pulling this doesn't negate the fact that he did it. He absolutely did it. And so he was guilty. He was flat out guilty. This should be prosecuted. And again, I wish Alvin Bragg in New York, and I wish Fonnie Willis in Fulton County in Georgia would be moving forward, because they do not have to abide by this memo. This memo only pertains to DOJ lawyers. It does not pertain to local prosecutors. But again, folk just sitting here gutless and scared and don't want to see them fight. And again, I would rather have the courts affirm this damn memo than we just keep going by a memo that was written in 1972 to protect a crook in Richard Nixon. That's what it was. All right, y'all, going to break. We come back. I got to talk about this nutcase who's going to be, Trump wants to be the Secretary of Health and Human Services. Pretty crazy, y'all. Pretty crazy. Some of the comments he made. And he said to black people, y'all should just shake this thing off. Just shake off racism. Y'all will be good. Just shake it off. It'll be just fine. Also, did I tell y'all Donald Trump thought he was God? Selling Bibles with his name above God. All right, y'all. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Support the work that we do. Don't forget, of course, join our Bring the Fuck fan club. You want to give via Cash App, use the app Stripe. This is the QR code right here to give via Cash App, so please do so. Also, senior check and money order, P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Be sure to download the Black Star Network app, Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. Also, don't forget to get my book, White Fear, How the Browning of America is Making White Folks Lose Their Minds, available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Bookshop Chapters, Target. Also get the audio version on Audible, and be sure to get our new shirt. Get your Roland Martin Unfiltered merchandise. You can get it at rolandmartin.creator-spring.com. Got to get this shirt. Don't blame me. I voted for the black woman. And so you can also get your RMU gear as well. And everybody who gets RMU gear, if you post it on social media or send me an email, I will give you a shout out right here on the show. All right, folks, I'll be right back. Back in a moment.
Coming soon to the Black Star Network.
I had been trying to get a record deal for a long time. You know, when I finally got signed to the Motown record label in 2003, I was 34, 35 years old. And up until that time, I had been trying to get record deals the traditional way. You know, you record your demo, you record your music, and you send it, you know, to the record labels, or maybe somebody, a friend of a friend, knows somebody that works for, you know, the record label. And really, chemistry was my last ditch effort at being in the music business.
How long have you been trying?
I've been trying since I was a teenager.
Wow.
You know? And you know, and I'm grateful that it didn't. I'm grateful that it happened when it happened, because I wasn't prepared, you know, as a teenager to embrace all that comes with a career in the music industry.
Hi, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Fanbase is a free-to-download, free-to-use, next-generation social media platform that allows anyone to have followers and subscribers on the same page. Fanbase was built through investment dollars from equity crowdfunding from the Jobs Act. People just like you helped build Fanbase, and we're looking for more people to help build Fanbase. We are currently raising $17 million in a Regulation A crowdfund on Start Engine. We've already crossed $2.1 million, but we're looking to raise more capital from people just like you that deserve the opportunity to invest in early stage startups without having to be accredited investors. So right now, I'd like you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase right now, today. And then use Fanbase to connect with friends, grow your audience, and be you without limits.
Hatred on the streets, a horrific scene, a white nationalist rally that descended into deadly violence.
White people are losing their damn minds. As an angry pro-Trump mob storms the U.S. Capitol, we've seen shootings.
We're about to see the rise of what I call white minority resistance. We have seen white folks in this country who simply cannot tolerate black folks voting.
I think what we're seeing is the inevitable result of violent denial.
This is part of American history. Every time that people of color have made progress, whether real or symbolic, there has been what Carol Anderson at Emory University calls white rage as a backlash.
This is the rise of the Proud Boys and the Boogaloo Boys. America, there's going to be more of this.
Here's all the Proud Boys, guys.
This country is getting increasingly racist in its behaviors and its attitudes because of the fear of white people.
The fear that they're taking our jobs, they're taking our resources, they're taking our women. This is white fear.
Now that Roland Martin is willing to give me the blueprint, hey, Cyrus, I need to go to Tyler Perry and get another blueprint because I need some green money. The only way I can do what I'm doing, I need to make some money. So you'll see me working with Roland. Matter of fact, it's the Roland Martin and Cheryl Underwood show. Well, should it be the Cheryl Underwood show and the Roland Martin show? Well, whatever show it's going to be good.
All right, folks, welcome back to Roland Martin Unfiltered right here on the Black Star Network. Well, y'all, remember I told y'all that this fool here think he's God? Donald Trump. Well, he really thinks he's God. So if y'all seen these new Bibles, check this out. These fools are selling Bibles, and he has his name above God. I told y'all, they sick. They are sick and demented. But these white evangelicals, they think he's the second coming of Jesus. And he is their God. He is their God. This is exactly what they think. This is how, look at this. The Holy Bible, his name is above it. Nutcase. You got to be out of your damn mind to buy a Bible with Donald Trump's name above God. But that's what you're dealing with these crazies here, Julian.
Exactly what you're dealing with. There is a biblical verse, I'm not a biblical scholar, put no man above me. Put no man above me. It's a biblical verse. But this man, his narcissism is such that he put himself above God. It's absurd, but it's also absurd that someone who has broken every commandment that's in there, every commandment, violated every proverb, that he has the temerity to sell Bibles. But the bigger set of fools are the people who pay $69.99, $70, y'all. Pay $70 for a Trump Bible. You can get your basic Bible, real nice with gold, gilded leaves, and everything else, about $30 at the religious store. Roland, I don't think, I'm not often speechless. Not often. But this temerity really renders me speechless.
Well, it's very simple. It's very simple, Jay. When you're a grifter, you're a grifter.
There you go.
That's correct. When you are a grifter, you are indeed a grifter. And there's so much garbage when I saw this, so much stuff to discuss when I saw this. I'm gonna try to just limit it down quickly because as a believer, I was very disturbed. And especially he has two, editions coming out. One is the 47th president, the inauguration. The other one is the day God intervened, which is the mark of the failed assassination. I'm like, what is this, your testimony edition? Trump, are you doing testimony services now in writing? Like, what is going on? And both, like you said, both of the editions are going to feature Trump's name above the Holy Bible and God, which is so blasphemous to me. I think this is another branding opportunity, an example of the tyrant-induced narcissism that Trump has. And lastly, I want to know how all these white evangelicals and some of even the black pastors in these inner city church who were inviting Trump in to speak, and these rich Kenneth Copeland, Joyce Myers, those millionaire, billionaire, even pastors. Are you all going to purchase this book for your congregation? That's what I really want to know. Are you going to purchase it for yourself and purchase it for your congregation, the same people who you were encouraging to vote for this man?
Again, he is their God, and he is a modern-day Saul. The people said they wanted a king. God's like, all right, I'm going to give y'all a king. Here you go, with his evil ass. Congo?
The President of the United States is going to swear on a Bible with a U.S. flag on it with his name above God.
And then he's going to sell it.
And then he's going to sell it. That was made in China. That's our next president of the United States. I mean, the fact of the matter is he has been their avatar. And the fact that the flag is on it as well is just a reminder that these guys never believed in the separation of church and state. It's some of the things we talk about as it relates to like the Islamic extremist caliphates in other places and parts of the world. That's what they want to create here in the name of Christianity. So they don't care if Trump is doing anything that he's doing right now with his name above God or anything like that, because he is just a vessel for them and their Project 2025 inclinations and policies to implement everything that they want to. I mean, Pete Hegseth, who's the DOD, whatever, he's looking at the DOD. I think he said it should be the flaming sword of Christ or something to that effect. I mean, they're looking at the government in every way, shape, or form to implement their Christian extremist agenda. And Trump is just an avatar for that. And so the fact that Julian talked about he's violated every sin is because they don't care. As long as he's going to help them do whatever they want, he can have his name above God on a Bible. He can have it made in China. He can have a flag on it because they are hypocrites, and he is the biggest hypocrite. And so this is what we've been saying all along in this entire show. We got to buckle up and watch out, because all of these guys, they talk trash about each other, but they are united and making sure that they can do everything possible to make this country an extreme Christian nation. And we got to be ready to fight it.
Yeah, they are absolutely insane, but he is their God. All right, y'all. Looks like heroin is Robert Kennedy Jr.'s God. A couple of sound bites unearthed. And let me tell you something right now. Y'all, there ain't a black man or black woman in America who could ever be on tape making this statement and they would be nominated to be the Secretary of Health and Human Services. Listen to this comment about Robert Kennedy and heroin.
And I was at the bottom of my class. I started doing heroin. I went to the top of my class. Suddenly I could sit still and I could read.
Run that back.
And I was at the bottom of my class. I started doing heroin. I went to the top of my class. Suddenly I could sit still and I could read.
Wow.
Run that back one more time.
And I was at the bottom of my class. I started doing heroin. I went to the top of my class. Suddenly I could sit still and I could read.
So Mokongo, he needed heroin in order to help him sit still. And heroin helped him read, and that's where he went to the top of his class. Maybe you went to the top of your class because you gave your other classmates heroin, and they like freaked out.
If only I knew. I mean, if only we all knew that all it took was a little bit of heroin to get our educational issues right in school. I mean, The fact that, I mean, I'm awestruck because they are, okay, it's not only that we know that they are unqualified, they have put out their whole history and record to talk about how unqualified they are. And none of these guys care. And none of these guys care because the Trump administration has also decided that they're not going to use the FBI to even do background checks. But we don't even need background checks, Roland, because all of this is already out there. This guy, didn't he like kill a bear and dump it in Central Park and all of these other types of things? I mean, the guy has been so out there, but it doesn't matter because with Trump as their avatar, we are seeing the most unqualified people because he's the most unqualified at the top. And I know that there's going to be more of a drip of what's going on with Robert F. Kennedy. I mean, this is the same guy, Kennedy, he called Trump Hitler. But lo and behold, when it comes together to have a common goal, they can let a lot of things slide. But I'm hoping that real journalists continue to do what you're doing, that real people are being out there exposing this stuff, because really at the end of the day, just because they're going to let these guys in and have these positions, it doesn't mean that we can't do our part to hold them accountable and put this stuff on the record, because this is absolutely ridiculous and it's only going to be more.
Well, Jay, don't forget heroin plus a brain worm.
Listen, Roland, everyone, I believe everything he's saying, the way he's sitting back, leaning in that chair, and the way he's speaking and talking. I believe everything he's saying about he's used heroin before he tried it. Additionally, as a person who has ADHD, I've been using Adderall since college, since before law school, and that actually usually, keeps me attentive and keeps me, calm down and wakes me when I need to be. I thought that heroin, I've never tried it, but I thought that it makes people nod out. So I'm confused as to how he would even come up with that, and unless no one repeat it to people, right? Repeat that he used to use to help him better at school, one of the most dangerous drugs that has affected our society since, the 50s, 60s, and ravaged complete communities, particularly Black communities, since way back when. So I'm very shocked that he would even make, those allegations that that's what he did, or not even allegations, that he would give his truth in that particular way.
Heroin, Julian, can you imagine any Black nominee saying, yeah, I was in class, I couldn't sit still, so I was like, yo, let me go get some smack. And man, I went and got some smack, and man, I started focusing, and ain't no way in the hell his ass or her ass getting confirmed.
And it would be heroin for them, Roland. They would be saying heroin.
Jane, I'm talking, please. Thank you.
Hold on, no, wait, no. I know you didn't, Julian. Hell, you've been interrupting other folk when I'm tossing to them. Stop it. I know you did. I know you did. Girl gone. I know but she is right. It'll be right. We pronounce heron.
I want to try to correct this.
Yeah, it'll be heron, and they would immediately go unimportant their ass. Unimportant. They gotta go. Julian, go.
I'm profoundly uneducated on the heroin or any other of those drugs. But what I do know as an educator is that it's highly unlikely that that fool was ever at the top of his class, even his kindergarten class. I mean, literally. And it could be checked. It could be fact-checked. And whoever reported this need to go fact to wherever he went to school, fact-check. Was he at the top of his class? No, because he went to schools where people with sense, and even people without sense, were at the top of their class. I found that highly amusing, but I find RFK Jr. highly amusing, and the collaboration between he and Mr. Trump highly amusing.
Well, I'm like, this, he a fool. But hold on. I ain't done RFK. So then y'all, they had this other piece of video was found. Well, he had some comments about Black people and how we need to deal with racism. I just roll it.
So I don't think you can change that part of human nature. What you can do is you can make kids resilient against it. And the way you do that is by giving them a great education so that they know that they have potential. And the other thing is to give them business models, role models, and opportunities within their own neighborhood. Black men who are running barbershops, who are running bars, who are running dance studios, who are running local businesses, restaurants, etc. and who are part of that community. And you know, when I was a kid, my uncle was the first Irish Catholic president of our country, and when he ran for president, there was a tremendous resurgence in anti-Catholic sentiment in this country, and a resurgence of the Ku Klux Klan. I remember crosses being burned when I was a kid against an anti-Catholic president. A lot of other, I was called a Mick, a mackerel snatcher, all these anti-Catholic slurs when I was a kid. But it never bothered me. If somebody called me that, I would think that guy's got a problem. But I didn't think I have a problem. And that because I had a great education, I had a family who loved me, I had role models in my country, I had confidence in my own future. Oh, you know, those kind of things had no impact on me. And that's the kind of resilience that we want to give the Black American children, so that they have so much confidence in their own future that when they do encounter the inevitable racism, that it will bounce off them, that they'll be, you know, like the Avengers, they'll be immune to it. And then we don't have to stop racism altogether, because we're never going to be able to do that, but we can have children that are not affected by it, that don't internalize it, that don't see it as their problem. They see it as the person whose race is a problem.
I'm gonna have to take a walk. I'm
Yeah, this is like an exhale moment.
A lot of deep breaths.
Yeah, we supposed to let.
Play that. Play that one more time.
So I don't think you can change that part of human nature. What you can do is you can make kids resilient against it. And the way you do that is by giving them a great education so that they know that they have potential. And the other thing is to give them business models, role models, and opportunities within their own neighborhood. You know, Black men who are running barbershops, who are running bars, who are running dance studios, who are running local businesses, restaurants, etc., and who are part of that community. And you know, when I was a kid, my uncle was the first Irish Catholic president of our country, and when he ran for president, there was a tremendous resurgence in anti-Catholic sentiment in this country, and a resurgence of the Ku Klux Klan. I remember crosses being burned when I was a kid against an anti-Catholic president. A lot of other, I was called a Mick, a mackerel snatcher, all these anti-Catholic slurs when I was a kid. But it never bothered me. If somebody called me that, I would think that guy's got a problem. But I didn't think I have a problem. And that because I had a great education, I had a family who loved me, I had role models in my country, I had confidence in my own future. Oh, you know, those kind of things had no impact on me. And that's the kind of resilience that we want to give the Black American children, so that they have so much confidence in their own future that when they do encounter the inevitable racism, that it will bounce off them, that they'll be, you know, like the Avengers, they'll be immune to it. And then we don't have to stop racism altogether, because we're never going to be able to do that, but we can have children that are not affected by it, that don't internalize it, that don't see it as their problem. They see it as the person whose race is a problem.
So he talked about his uncle becoming the first Catholic president. Go to my iPad. Robert Kennedy's grandfather was Ambassador Joseph P. Kennedy Sr. Read this. By 1935, Joseph P. Kennedy had his wealth increased to 100. This is by 1935. His wealth had increased to $180 million, equivalent to $4 billion in 2023. He also acquired enough capital to establish million-dollar trust funds for each of his 9 children that guaranteed lifelong financial independence. That's one story. Here is, this is from history.com. And it talked about how Joseph Kennedy amassed his wealth. First of all, he was a bootlegger with the mafia, had his money in other things. You just walked right past camera. I got you. So go ahead. All right, I'm just going through here, y'all. Look at this right here. Kennedy sold his liquor franchise a decade later. He walked away with $8.2 million, more than $100 million in today's dollars. All right, let me just keep going on here. I'm just going on while I'm sitting here looking at how he made his money. So that's how Kennedy made his money. Do y'all know what this is? This right here, y'all, is the Kennedy compound in Hyannisport, Massachusetts. This is the compound. This is where the Kennedy family traveled. This is where they played football. Y'all know there were no crosses being burned at the Kennedy family compound. None of those things were actually happening there. You do know how rich they were. Then when JFK is killed on November 22nd, 1963, his brother Robert F. Kennedy then becomes the leader of the family because the dad had a stroke. See, the thing was passed down. So it was Ambassador Kennedy, eldest son had gotten killed, had died before. Then it was JFK. Then it was RFK. And then after RFK was killed in June 1968, Teddy, the youngest boy, y'all do realize the girls couldn't control the family wealth. Mm-hmm. It went down to Ted. And then for Ted, it was Ted and it was the grandsons. That's how the wealth was controlled. And so here you got this white man who took heroin in college, standing before a group of black people, telling them that, oh, we should just raise them to be like the Avengers. Just shake the racism off. Just that they need to be able to just, be resilient. You can't show me a Kennedy who could have withstood the racism and the bigotry that any regular, ordinary black person had to endure and still survived. Show me the litany of black people who were maids, janitors, who washed and cooked white folks' houses and children, yet were able to send their kids to college to have a life. There is no white man in America who should ever tell anybody black what resilience looks like. You can't show me. You cannot stand before me. And every black person, put the video up and show them. Every black person who was sitting there listening to Robert F. Kennedy, if they didn't cuss his monkey ass out, shame on all they sorry asses. Because there's no way I would be silent and have some white man or white woman tell me that the way we need to be able to raise black kids is to have mentors and role models, and if they could be just, to be resilient, they can just shake off the haters, shake off the racism, and like be Avengers. Really? Robert Kennedy Jr. could walk into a bank and he doesn't need to have a business plan. In fact, Robert Kennedy Jr. doesn't even have to walk into a bank. His family can self-fund it. Robert Kennedy Jr. can run around with his anti-vaccine conspiracies and travel the country with all of his nonsense because he's the beneficiary of a trust fund that was paid for by his bootlegging grandfather. And so we are supposed to sit here and accept that kind of bullshit?
Woo.
We're supposed to sit here and tolerate this ignoramus trying to tell black people, folk who are the descendants of people of African descent, who were kidnapped and taken from Senegal, from Ghana, from Sierra Leone, and other African nations, and transported across the Atlantic and dropped off in Brazil, in Jamaica, in Haiti, in the Dominican Republic, all across the Caribbean before arriving here. The millions that died in the transport, and then those that came here and were savagely beaten and treated and shamed and degraded. Black women who had babies cut out of their womb. Black men who had their penises cut off. Do we need to describe what white folks did in America to the body of Nat Turner, where his entire body was mutilated and held up like a trophy? Do we need to talk about 300 black people dying in Tulsa in 1921? Do we need to talk about the Red Summer of 1919? Do we need to talk about the savage brutality in Wilmington, North Carolina? Should we talk about the constant bombings and beatings and lynchings that took place? Should we talk about the group of black soldiers who killed white folks in Houston for how they were being treated? We can go on and on and on and on and talk about Rosewood. We can go all across this country. And this son of a bitch has the audacity, the unmitigated gall to sit in front of a group of black people and explain to them how in the hell we should equip our boys and girls to be resilient. Real simple, Robert Kennedy. Fuck you.
Woo.
How dare you stand there and say that to black people? Because there's no more resilient group of people in this country than people of African descent. No group in the history of the United States has been degraded, maligned, beaten, killed, torn asunder, abused mentally, abused physically, abused spiritually. Our men, our women, education, economics, health, yet we are still here. Yet we are still standing. And you somehow want to stand there in all your whiteness, in all of your privilege, in all of your riches, to tell black people how we need to put an armor on our kids in order for them to be resilient. See, the problem, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., is not black folk being called nigger. The problem is not black boys and girls being called coons. The problem, Robert F. Kennedy, is not black boys and girls being called porch monkeys, lawn jockeys. The problem is when they smile in our face and say loan denied. The problem is even in 2024, when you black, you have to take down the black paintings and the books and the family portraits from your walls and your shelves, and remove your DVDs and remove anything that has a semblance of blackness so you can get the right appraisal for your home. See, what Robert F. Kennedy Jr. don't understand. See, when you are white in America, you can go into a hospital and get treated, but you can be Serena Williams and a black woman, and they question your pain. And you have to yell, holler, and scream to be treated while you were having a baby, and you could have almost lost that child. See, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., he don't know what it means to be a black CEO. And you walk into a room, and the white folks mistake you as the staffer or as the assistant and not the CEO. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. don't know what it means when you're a black woman who is Angela Alsobrook, who goes to the U.S. Capitol, and the first thing the Capitol Police assume is that she's a staffer. And then when told I'm not a staffer, they said, are you the spouse of a member of Congress? And she says, no, I'm the duly elected United States Senator from Maryland. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has no idea the reality of what black folk have to contend with on a daily basis. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has no idea. Even if you have all of the degrees. See, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. talk about all that resilience and that Avengers. I don't let nobody white mistreat me. I don't let anybody, black or white, talk to me any way they want to. But don't you think for a second, when I'm having to sit here and I'm talking to Group M, and I'm talking to Publicis, and I'm talking to Horizon, and I'm talking to IMG, I'm talking to all of these ad agencies, and then they decide, no, we're not gonna buy black. And they don't say we're not gonna buy black. They just don't buy black. When I'm dealing with political campaigns, when you look at the top 5 firms, ad agencies, and how much money they made, more than $600 million was funneled into those firms. And the top one was $280 million. Do y'all know what the top amount of money that went through a black ad agency in the Harris for President campaign? It was $28 million. Top white firm was $280 million. 10 times more. See, I can go on and on and on. See, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has no idea that you can be black and well educated, and you can be armed with the Spirit of God on you. That's Ephesians, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. You can talk about that coat of armor, that spiritual coat. You can have all of that, and you still are going to deal with the indignities of race. Remember when Oprah Winfrey was over there in Paris and tried to go into that jewelry store and they wouldn't hit the buzzer? You want to show me or tell me when John H. Johnson Johnson Publishing Company, got stopped by the cops in Chicago for driving his Rolls Royce. How do we know about racial profiling, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.? Oh, poor black people had been stopped by the cops for a long time. But it was middle class and upper middle class black people driving their Jaguars and Mercedes and BMWs on the New Jersey Turnpike who went public and told people about the reality of driving while black. But we're supposed to sit here and take lessons from somebody who needed heroin to study in school. We're supposed to sit here and just be quiet and meek and say, yes, boss. Yeah, boss, please tell us how us good black people, how we need to act and behave in order to go forward. Please, boss, can you tell us how we need to equip our youngins for them to be able to survive in America? Oh, by all means, boss, can you please just give us a little of your wisdom? Because we really don't know. We black folk, we don't know what it means to be resilient. And I'm so glad that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. came by these parts to educate us black folk on how we need to equip our kids to be resilient. So y'all, let's all just together, just give Robert F. Kennedy Jr. a round of applause for being such a gracious white man to show us the white print on how to raise resilient black youngins. Future generations will look on this day and say, praise the Lord, that God done sent Robert F. Kennedy Jr. our way to avoid vaccine shots, sent him our way to tell our black kids, if you want to go to the highest of your graduating class, take some heroin and things will be well in school. We're going to look on this day 50 to 100 years later, and we're going to say in the year 2124, how is it that black people just started soaring in America? And we're going to be able to say it was because of that wonderful white man, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who came by to give us a little talk and to show us peons, black folk, how to get ahead in America. Thank you, boss Robert F. Kennedy Jr. I sure appreciate it. Do you want to put your feet now on my stomach in order for you to heal your sickness and to fix the brain worm in your head? Let me just go call my nieces and my nephews and bring them along, boss, so they can lay on the floor and make you feel at home. Get the fuck out of here. I'll be back.
Whew, that part.
Coming soon to the Black Star Network.
I had been trying to get a record deal for a long time. You know, when I finally got signed to the Motown record label in 2003, I was 34, 35 years old. And up until that time, I had been trying to get record deals the traditional way. You know, you record your demo, you record your music, and you send it, you know, to the record labels, or maybe somebody, a friend of a friend, knows somebody that works for, you know, the record label. And really, chemistry was, that was my last-ditch effort at being in the music business.
How long have you been trying?
I've been trying since I was a teenager. Wow. You know? And you know, and I'm grateful that it didn't. I'm grateful that it happened when it happened, because I wasn't prepared, you know, as a teenager to embrace all that comes with a career in the music industry.
Hi, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Fanbase is a free to download, free to use, next generation social media platform that allows anyone to have followers and subscribers on the same page. Fanbase was built through investment dollars from equity crowdfunding from the Jobs Act. People just like you help build Fanbase. And we're looking for more people to help build Fanbase. We are currently raising $17 million in a Regulation A crowdfund on Start Engine. We've already crossed $2.1 million, but we're looking to raise more capital from people just like you that deserve the opportunity to invest in early stage startups without having to be accredited investors. So right now, I'd like you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase right now, today. And then use Fanbase to connect with friends, grow your audience, and be you without limits.
When you talk about blackness and what happens in black culture, covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it.
This is about covering us.
Invest in black-owned media.
Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks.
We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Your money makes this possible.
Checks and money orders go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com.
What's good, y'all? This is Doug E. Fresh, and you're watching my brother Roland Martin Unfiltered as we go a little something like this. Hit it. It's real.
All right, folks are getting ready this week. Some people already started cooking. Thanksgiving is going on. And, of course, you know what that means. Lots and lots of eating. You know how that goes down. But it also means that folk going to get a little carried away. So then you go, of course, you got Christmas after that. So really the next 30 days is always crazy. And so our next guest says, look, there you have to have a holiday eating guide to help you moderate your way through these days and not act a fool. Cootie Mac, what's up, man?
Hey, what's happening, man? I love the colors. I got the memo. You know,
yeah, got the memo. Well, you know, Texas A&M, we play University of Texas this week.
Yeah.
So we got the big game on Saturday. I'll be there on the field. So, so if y'all watching the game and y'all see this maroon hat, yeah, that'll be me, because I'll be the only black man with a maroon hat down there.
Crimson looks good on you, man.
So, no, this is maroon. See, you Capitals have no sense of colors. This is maroon. This is Aggie maroon. Nice try. That didn't work.
It looked. No, you look
just
good.
So you know, first of all, the colors of my show are my high school colors, crimson and gold, which is really red and gold.
Okay.
So just so you know.
Okay. All
yeah.
right.
See, don't get cussed out of here. Bring get a little cap of nonsense in here. All right. So let's talk about it. So the campaign. First of all, I put on like 20 pounds during the campaign. So after the election is over, so I'm down 11 pounds in 17 days.
Okay, good.
All right.
Good.
So I ain't trying to mess stuff up this week. And so if for others who do the same thing, what should they do this week not to mess things up?
Not to mess things up. I mean, you just talked about me being a Kappa. Kappas like to do things in threes. So look, I got a super trio for you. First and foremost, start now. Start now. Don't wait till, you just mentioned it, you've got 30 days, if not more. And so if you say, I'm going to wait till after Thanksgiving to start getting it right, or you're going to have holiday parties right after that.
Right.
And then it's going to be Christmas or whatever holiday you celebrate in December.
Okay.
Then it's going to be a couple days before and after that. Then it's going to be New Year's Eve. And then it's going to be, before you know it, you're going to be rolling into Valentine's Day and still be not getting it right. And if you're actually paying attention and you're watching this show, trying to get this information, you're a smart person, and you're smart enough to know that if you're listening right now, it's because you have already, you need it now. You need the help now. So start now. Second of all, commit to one healthy habit. It doesn't have to be something crazy. It could be something as simple as walking for 15 minutes. It could be something as simple as drinking more water. It could be something as simple as grabbing an apple. We like to talk about apples when I come on the show a lot, or even juicing veggies, which you start getting some higher level stuff, but not hard to do. Commit to one healthy habit. And the best time to start doing that healthy habit is not only now, but right before you go to whatever said event you're going to. So right before Thanksgiving dinner, just grab an apple. It won't spoil. A lot of times we like to starve and just hold off on eating all day. Don't do that. Eat something healthy in the morning. Eat something healthy in the afternoon.
So that particular point, because you're right. What happened? Somebody actually posted a meme I saw last week. They said how black folks will completely. There'll be no breakfast being made because everybody, of course, is waiting to eat for Thanksgiving. Right. And so what you're saying is like, no, have a small meal so that way you're not gorging once it's time for Thanksgiving dinner.
Because when you do something healthy right before, let's just say 15, 20, even 30, 40 minutes before your event, you've already prepared your mind. Your mind has a pattern that's like, okay, this is what we're doing. If you take a 15-minute jog before you take your shower, before you go to dinner, Thanksgiving dinner that is, then your body's already prepped and you already have put you're investing something into you being healthy. So when you approach Thanksgiving dinner, you can approach it with a little more sense.
So let's just talk about it from a fitness standpoint. So let's say folks will eat, let's say in the afternoon versus in the evening, okay? So are you saying, hey, go for a mile walk, go for a 2-mile walk, that way you'll get in, 3,000 or 4,000 or 5,000 steps before the dinner. So basically whatever you eat, you've already sort of banked some stuff?
It's just putting yourself in a rhythm so that when that aberration happens, your body recognizes it as an aberration, as opposed to you holding off, starving, blowing it, and then going through the mental gymnastics. Because I mean, as a fitness.
And also, you starving, you ain't. Some people say, no, I'm fasting.
No, not at all. Not at all. You're not fasting at all. Starvation and fasting, two completely different things.
Okay.
Like I said, as a 52-year-old man, one thing I learned ever so preciously, ever so often, ever more is that, man, we ain't got time to waste. So stop putting stuff off. Get it done now. Get it done now. And then last but not least, the third thing I would say is have a game plan. Have a game plan. If you know that, grandma's got the banging sweet potato pie, okay, you're gonna do a slice of that.
Like I already know, first of all, my mom has a pineapple cream cheese cake that is ridiculous.
Lord have mercy.
In fact, and normally the way it works is, so she has to make two.
right.
No, she has to make two. So she makes one for them and there's one for me. It's like, and they can't touch mine. So I already know what's gonna happen. And mama, don't trip. Don't act like you getting out of that this year. Let's just be real clear. So again, if you know that's gonna happen, it's like, all right, come Friday,
look,
you need to move your body.
Have a game plan. What am I going to do going into it? Like I said, and again, it doesn't have to be a lot. The 5-10 minutes you're going to spend before, and then what you're going to do after, and what's going to be your lifestyle moving forward. Because investing in your lifestyle now is going to help you in general. You don't want to be sitting there trying to bank it and then go through the ups and downs of trying to figure it out. Just start a lifestyle. So this is an aberration and not something that's just a landing point of negativity.
You also, of course, people are going to be drinking sweet tea. They're going to be drinking all kind of stuff like that. And so let's talk about consumption of water.
Yeah. So water is a really great way to dilute whatever it is that your beverages of choice are. I'm not really a drinker, but at the same time, I do like, some cider, some juice. Those have a lot of sugar in them. Go 1 for 1. Drink some water the first serving. The next serving, have a little bit of apple cider. Next serving, go back to the water. Next serving, go back to the apple cider. Go 1 for 1. If it's a cocktail, drink some water, then drink the cocktail. And then again, this is for special occasions. This is not, once the special occasion is over, again, find that healthy habit that you're committing to and start to employ it.
Do y'all have the photo of Cootie Mac's building a balanced plate? If y'all have it, show it, please. And so, of course, how folk put together their plates is always, it's going to be turkey, it's going to be stuffing, it's going to be cranberry, it's going to be all this sort of stuff like that. But you advocate having a balanced plate.
For sure. I'm not about depravity. I don't like approaching things from that standpoint because it's not sustainable. What I do like when it comes to special occasions is set your plate up so that it has the ratios that work in your favor so they work the least against you. So what I would suggest doing is if you had your plate, think of it as a pie chart.
Now, first of all, I'm eating gumbo.
Okay.
So I know what I'm eating. So
Okay.
it's going to be seafood gumbo. Everybody know I'm eating gumbo Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay, so if that's the case.
So I already know it's going to be rice, it's going to be gumbo.
Okay, so make that a quarter of your consumption. Okay?
All right.
You'll still get a chance to enjoy it. Whatever the raw options are in terms of fruits and vegetables, the easiest way is salad, but if there's like a veggie tray or a fruit tray, make that 50% of your consumption.
Okay.
Then make the cooked vegetables 25% of your consumption. So 50% raw, 25% cooked veggies, 25% whatever it is you want. If it's
So I got it. So I have one of the portable blenders. So you saying I should bring that with me and then throw some fruit in there and then throw like some mixed green in there. That's gonna be my veggies and fruit.
If you were gonna do that before you go. Like make that smoothie, take that on your way in. But when you get there, whatever fruit.
Or a protein shake on the way in?
I'm not a huge fan of protein shakes.
Why?
Because a lot of times they have added ingredients in there that you don't need.
Like what?
Sugar.
Okay.
Sugar. And so, and most of the stuff, you can make a protein shake from whole food items. You know, berries, Greek yogurt, nuts and seeds.
Got it.
And then coconut water, and you're good to go.
Okay.
All natural. But again, set up your plate like a ratio. It'll be 50% of that plate, fruit and veggies, raw. 25% cooked veggies, so the greens, the green beans, the Brussels sprouts, whatever that is, whatever you choose, and then 25% whatever you want it to be. You know, I'm not telling you, you want mac and cheese, you can have it. You want some sweet potatoes, you can have it. You want some turkey, just make it a quarter of your consumption, and that's for every serving. So if you do seconds, do the same ratio.
Got it.
All right.
So I should have that. I should have the side of vegetables with the gumbo bowl because that.
Yes.
Because everybody know. I know what they know in advance what I'm gonna do.
And that's how it should be.
All right, questions from our panelists. See here, Jade, you're first.
Oh, I have a question. So regarding, I guess, working out and probably eating, I know a lot of people deal with seasonal affective disorder, including me. How does that look? Because around the winter times or the holiday seasons is when I eat a lot less and don't really have a lot of energy to work out. So what do you suggest then?
You eat less around the holidays?
Yeah, because if I don't feel well, I don't eat at all. I can go like 2-3 days without eating.
Okay, so y'all got real cooks in your family? You need to like swing by. You need to swing by the people like I got real cooks in our family. You need to come hang out with us.
I need to. My family to Hollywood now over there in Bel Air, so you know they don't.
Oh
really,
hell no! You need to come to Houston where we got real shit. Look, if you ain't eating for 2 or 3 days, y'all can't cook. I'm just letting. I mean, your parents might be watching, but yeah, y'all bougie as hell. If you going 2-3 days, you ain't eating.
Listen, what you need to do is understand, realize your body's a fine-tuned machine. You wouldn't take your smartphone and not charge it up. You definitely aren't driving your car without gas or electric charge, and you need fuel. You need nutrition. So what you would want to do is just make sure you do something in the morning. Start your day off with something healthy. I always advocate juicing vegetables, not fruit. So taking like cucumber, spinach, maybe a little bit of ginger, 10 ounces in the morning. You just get that in your system. You'll find it'll be a lot easier for you to make healthy decisions and actually start to crave healthy food.
Okay, so I should start doing the Ensures I do every morning now.
Nah, take them Ensures out.
Oh, okay.
But that's if you look at the ingredients of that thing, you'll see that it's just a lot of empty calories.
Okay, so you want her to take that out, but replace it with what?
I would replace that with like we were talking about earlier. I'd make a smoothie. So get your favorite berries frozen, get some coconut water, 100% coconut water, get some nuts and seeds, and some Greek yogurt. If you don't have an aversion to dairy, blend that all up. Enjoy yourself.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to try that tomorrow.
All right, I'm a Congo. Well, we know his ass going to be doing hot yoga. So, I mean, but go ahead.
Yes. Hot yoga, hot Pilates, come through. Bikram Yoga Works, work out with us. But my question is about the actual eating moment. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts as it relates to things like the amount of speed and pace of people should be eating, and then also the consumption of liquids while you're eating? These people have different things. I'm eating some, then I'm taking a sip, or people like to eat the whole meal, then take the sip. And I'm talking any beverage. What are your thoughts on those things?
So those are great questions. I'll be honest, I like to make it as easy as possible. I don't want it to be like, okay, 3 ounces of eating, 2 ounces of beverages. However, when it comes down to the actual eating moment, you are making a great observation and a great point. What you want to make sure is that if you find yourself eating compulsively, you're already off program. If you find yourself like, I don't want to eat no more, but you keep getting another spoon, or you're just shoving it in your mouth without even thinking about what you're eating, that's when it's time to just take an assessment and stop and take a break. The best way to be able to tell that, the best way to be able to turn on that off switch when you've had enough is to do what I said earlier, which is invest in doing something healthy before your meal. Eating an apple before you go to Thanksgiving dinner will now have you eating more sensibly while you're at Thanksgiving dinner.
Got it? All right, Julian.
Yeah, brother, thank you so much for being with us and for your very healthy tips, which are important. People are going to be picking out literally from Thanksgiving until New Year's, just because we're a food culture and people eat. I tell a very quick funny story. Back in the day when I was a college freshman, I went to Detroit because I was dating some dude from Detroit. I kissed a lot of frogs in my time. But anyway, and he had 11 brothers and sisters. So we had to go to everybody's house, and I didn't know that. And the women, she didn't eat my mac and cheese. So by the time we got back to Boston at the time, I was sick as a dog because I had eaten everything that everybody put in front of me because I was trying to make a good impression. I don't know why. This time I'm going to one person's house, and that's been my mantra. And folks know I don't eat pork. So I wish I could come to Roland's house and get some of that gumbo because that's one of my favorite things. But how do you diplomatically let people know that you've had enough, that you don't want any more? And, you know, because people will, the friend whose house I'm probably going to
Hell, just say I'm done. I'm good.
You could do that, or you just.
Roland, how long have you been black?
It don't matter. No, if you say, hell, if I'm full, I'm full. Like, hey, I'm done. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'm good. I damn sure use that when they asses can't cook.
Right.
Look,
I was about to say.
I don't eat a lot of sweets because I'm diabetic.
Oh,
but
see, there's the thing. So there's
put some cake in my face and then act all insulted when I don't eat it.
No, I'm good. Go ahead.
You know, sometimes, especially when you have health concerns like that, you know, be like, hey, look, if you got time to take me to the hospital, if you've got time to run me to the emergency room, you know, and sit with me there, by all means, give it to me. But you know what? I'm good. I've had enough. Thank you so much. Or if there is something that you see that is, like matter of fact, if you've eaten a bunch of things, you feel like, man, I could just use a little something to move this thing around. If they have a veggie option, they have a fruit option that appeals to you, just ask for some of that. Be like, you know what? I'm good on that. But you know, if you can give me some of those strawberries, I'll definitely appreciate it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right. But again, bottom line is, like, if you full, say, I'm full. I'm full. I'm done. I'm done. That's what you do.
Yeah, so, but you know, that's easier said than done when you are moving, you know.
Hell no. And they keep pressing, damn it, I told you I'm done. See, you got to go just raise your voice a little bit. They're going to back the hell off. So.
It's the holidays, man. But look, so if anybody has any extra questions, feel free to hit me up. Just follow me on Instagram at KUTIMACK. You can email me directly if you're not on social media, bybd@me.com. I'll gladly answer all these questions, and especially as you go into the holidays, I'll give you a game plan.
All right. Cool, I appreciate it. And Scott Bolden, I told you I tolerate Kappas on the show. So, you know, I tolerate them.
Even wearing, it's
maroon.
Crimson.
Maroon. Your ass wearing maroon. Now, if you think that's crimson, you colorblind as hell.
All right.
You a straight ass colorblind, and you think that's crimson.
Amen.
All right, Jade, I'm a Congo, Julian. I appreciate it. Let me do this here. Before we do go, roll the video. Yesterday, Bishop T.D. Jakes had a medical emergency while they were in service on yesterday. Y'all have the video? I put it in the group meet to put it on the show. Okay, let me go ahead and find it my damn self since, you know, I got to go ahead and do this. So many of you have already seen the video of Bishop T.D. Jakes. Again, he preached yesterday's service, but towards the conclusion of the service, there was a health issue that took place yesterday. And go ahead and go to the video, please.
Got to be somebody special to come get it. PMT serve the people of God. still love to preach. I ain't tired of preaching. I miss you. I miss you. Have you ever gone to the hospital to visit somebody and you thought you was going to encourage them and they encourage you? That's what preaching is like. You think you're giving out something, but you're getting back more than you gave. I love you. Now, Lord, let the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. O Lord, my strength, my Redeemer. Let them go in peace.
Take your time. Back up.
So there were a lot of people. There were a lot of people. There were a lot of people who were putting all sort of speculation out in social media, stroke, heart attack, all those things. The Potter's House did release a statement. They have not stated what exactly happened, the medical condition. He did go to the hospital. Bishop Jakes has been in the hospital overnight. He's in stable condition. And again, his daughter and son-in-law also put a statement out. This is the statement from the Potter's House. During today's service, Bishop T.D. Jakes experienced a slight health incident and received immediate medical attention following his powerful hour-long message. Bishop Jakes is unstable and under the care of medical professionals. The entire Potter's House family is grateful for the outpouring of love, prayers, and support from the community. Thank you for your understanding and continued prayers. And so certainly the same goes out for us here to Bishop Jakes. Again, let me thank our panelists. Jade, Makongo, Julian, thanks a bunch. Goody Mac, appreciate you being here as well. Folks, don't forget, support the work that we do. Of course, nobody does what we do. Nobody does what we do in terms of the show that we do every single day, the stories that we cover, the things that matter to you. And so we do this because we've got to have our own voice. And as, of course, the nation's first black newspaper said, March 16th, 1827, the Freedom Journal, we got it right here on our wall. We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. And so we want you to continue to support us. Join our Bring the Funk fan club. You can, of course, use Stripe. You can use Stripe to pay for via Cash App. Cash App closed down different business accounts like ours, and so that really screwed us up. But Stripe is a way for you to give to our show via Cash App. So please do that. You can also send a check and money order to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can also, of course, download the Black Strut Network app, Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. And you can also, of course, get a copy of my book, White Fear, How the Browning of America is Making White Folks Lose Their Minds, available at bookstores nationwide. Get the audio version on Audible. Get your Roland Martin Unfiltered gear, including our new shirt, Don't Blame Me, I Voted for the Black Woman. You can go to rolandmartin.creator-spring.com, rolandmartin.creator-spring.com to get your merch. And of course, if you want to invest in Fanbase, download Fanbase, please do so by going to startengine.com/fanbase, startengine.com/fanbase. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Y'all take care. Holla!
is here.
Oh, no punch!
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?